marketing with me, which is super exciting because, we're going to hear a bit about Nicola's adventure into marketing, because it wasn't quite where she thought she was going to get to, but very similar ethos to me when it comes to marketing. It's not just about pretty pictures and getting stuff out there. It's really about finding out why you've got those pretty pictures up there in the first place and what story they tell. So, hey, Nikola, thank you so much for joining me. Can you hear me,
great
Nikola?
to be here, me. Love it. Can't wait to start talking about anything to do with branding or marketing or just talking in general.
We're going to be talking a lot about you.
Right, even better.
Okay, so you're sitting in the classroom, 15, 16, you've got to decide what you're going to do for the rest of your life. What was Nikola thinking she was going to do when she was in school?
Right. When I was 15, it was speech pathologist. I was really passionate because there's a big gap between myself and my sister. So she was 8 years younger and she was going through speech pathology when I was, 15. And I really, really loved the ethos behind that and trying to help them. So I would sit there on the weekends and help my sister with all the activities she had to do for speech pathology. So when it came to 15 and you had to look at what career you really wanted to go, speech pathology is where I thought I was going to go. And I was really all keen and set up, but it didn't quite turn out like that.
So what happened? Because I presume did you start doing courses to kind of go down that path and then something else got in your way? How did you end up doing marketing?
No, it was the beginning of year 10, which was when I was 15, and we had to really start thinking about it. And I started choosing year 11 and 12 subjects that would get me closer to going towards that as a uni degree. And then it got to the end of that year and I decided I didn't want to do any of it. I just had some sort of conniption inside me where I went, no, I don't want to do year 11 and 12. I don't want to go down that path. What do I want to do? And it ended up being that I went to business. I said, I don't want to do year 11 and 12. And I went to business college, would you believe? And that's where business and marketing and things started. So I had my life mapped out. I was going to be a speech pathologist. I was going to go to university, and that was where I was going to go. 1 week, it all just changed. Something inside me changed, and it didn't happen. So how random is that? You can have your life all planned out when you're 15 and end up somewhere completely different.
Oh, completely. And I think, I think that's really important to your why as well in the first place. You're obviously passionate about it because of your sister, but just because you're passionate about it because of that one person, it didn't mean that it had to translate into the rest of your life. And when you're 16, it really does feel like you've got to decide what you're doing for the rest of your life.
It does. And I have a 16-year-old now. So I'm going through all of that with him. And that's why it's really fresh in my mind, because it's really come back full circle. And I'm talking to him now about, not having to have it all mapped out now and making sure you're doing something that's passionate to you. And it's really, really, it's exciting to see it come back around again, but it's brought all the feelings back of being 15, 16 and having to choose your life. And then all of a sudden one day realizing it wasn't what you wanted and you didn't know what you wanted and you wanted to find how you could find out your why. And eventually that journey came to me. It felt like it came round and it found me.
And I think that's why I guess we clicked so much, is because I really love the kind of story behind your why of why you're doing marketing for the clientele you're doing marketing for. Because a lot of people start their businesses, or you go into an agency or wherever you are, and you're going for the big ticket items, the big clients, whereas you're really focused on those smaller clients that otherwise wouldn't have that marketing experience inside. They wouldn't have it in-house. So you're like almost you're in-house, out-house marketing person, which is totally what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to do marketing for small and not-for-profits, and then realized that I don't really love marketing. I love personal branding. I just keep pulling people out. But your why is really incredible. Talk to me a little bit about the clients you work with and what does that look like?
Well, yeah, I started off 23 years of working with shopping centre marketing back from 98 onwards. So I've seen a lot of small businesses struggle, a lot of small businesses fail, ghost loans of upwards of $200,000 for leases they no longer have, marriage breakdowns, because they didn't have clarity in their why in business. They just were in business and they didn't really have the tools to make it succeed. So when I came out of probably about 6-7 years ago, a lot of small businesses that were in my shopping centre realm came to me because they knew how passionate I was about working with them to help them. And it ended up becoming a real passion of mine that I had my shopping centre clients, but I also had small business clients. And I was able to bring all the experience I'd had with the shopping centre realm and helping them in their marketing direction, but I could do it one-on-one now. I could really get and dive deep into why their customer journey, and really help them in leveling up their marketing. And that's where I sort of became known and coined the term the small business cheerleader, because I was so passionate about, they needed somebody in their corner, somebody who could help them. These small business owners that I'm dealing with regularly on the daily are overwhelmed. They have no clarity, they have no direction, and they know they need to be doing things. And, they have all this free information that gets thrown at them, but they had no way of getting it into a plan and into a way that they could understand. And so that was where my why was born. During that
so
work,
overwhelming.
I just had a discovery call just prior, and people are on the edge. This is why one of our core values is empathy, because if you're not, and you can't walk in somebody else's shoes, a lot of small business owners, this could be the last ditch effort that they have to keep their business going. And you need to make sure that you can really understand what their business journey is and how you can bring value to them and how you can bring them clarity. So our mission was to bring clarity to and reduce overwhelm for every small business owner in Australia. And that's what we try and work towards. That's our vision, because that's what I want to see in the world. The difference I want to see is that overwhelm lessen, and them have access to higher level strategy that they don't normally have. Most is just a Facebook page or an Instagram page, and they all think they know that they can do it, but they forget that's advertising. Marketing is your strategy, knowing your why, your vision, what's your 10-year goal for your business, how are you going to get there, what's your business offering. It's that sort of stuff that we need to get out to people.
Yeah, and we were talking about that just before we went on the call, and apologies, my camera has decided that it doesn't want to play today, but you can still hear me, so we should be okay. But yeah, we were talking about that just before the call, where you've got a lot of people that they have an Instagram page personally or Facebook page, so they're automatically feel like they're marketing experts, and there's not that same. It's just there's a disconnect from other industries like legal and accountancy, etc., where that there's got to be some professional training in order to be able to do it. A lot of people think the marketing side is something I can save on, something I can do myself, when the reality is that the marketing is one of the most important things. Yes, you've got to have all the legality and everything in the back end set up as well and have some structure, but what's forward facing? Like, what is your ideal client actually seeing? And I really loved what you were talking about with the shopping centres, that a lot of people take on these massive leases and they think, well, I've got a shop front and I've got it in a really busy centre, that's all I need, when that's not all you need, because there's still a lot of competition in there in the first place. And what's drawing someone to your store?
Yeah, and that's it. And we work with our clients on pain points. What is your customer's pain point, and how are you providing a solution to that pain point? Because what makes you different to someone else, and why are people going to shop with you as opposed to Joe Blogs around the corner? And that happens with any business. A lot of it, I work with a lot of tradies, and the same thing. Why are they going to pick you over tradie XYZ down the corner? And that's where you can utilize your social media to provide that social proof, to provide that authentic voice. But to get that, you need to have the clarity first. Why are you in business? What is your vision? What difference do you want to make in the world with what you're doing? And how are you planning to get there? How are you actually working your mission, which is how many people, by when, and what are you doing to make your vision happen? And I think once people get clarity around that, their marketing message is easier. It's easier to write. It's easier for it to convert, because people understand you're hitting their pain point. You're talking directly to them about how you can solve that, because people want the results. They're buying the results, and you just need to make sure you understand what it is that you provide the solution for. And I think that is really important before you start doing all of your social media, because it does take time and energy. And yes, you can do that side yourself, but if you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing or what your message is, really you're just putting up pretty pictures and stuff that's not going to resonate, and it's not going to convert, because people are not going to understand what the solution is you're providing, and you're not going to understand it because you really don't have clarity on it. And that's what my passion is, to get out to as many small businesses as I can, that marketing is different to advertising, is different to publicity, it's different to everything that is on the other side, which are your tactics, and they're just as important, but you need to do the work first. Do the work on the strategy first. This part will become easier.
So talk to me a little bit about, you said you work with tradespeople, and obviously they're very hands-on, and it's very much about, get the job done, get in there and do it. They know exactly what they're doing. Marketing is another kettle of fish that's sometimes forgotten, a little bit like your bookkeeping. We spend so much time replacing ourselves rather than just getting a bookkeeper to do something that take them 10 minutes. What does what's the process like working with a tradesperson to try and extract that information? Because I can imagine a lot of, you get a plumber saying, well, I stopped things leaking. Isn't that a good thing?
I tell you, I've found the most interesting work I've done so far, from shopping centres, e-commerce, from local service businesses, tradies. It's more about their vision. So I work with them. Where do you want to be in 10 years? Most of them don't want to be doing what they're doing. They want to have people doing it for them, or they want to be scaling so that they can have more free time to do what they love. That's what I've found. So what I work with them, it's your vision. So I've worked with, say, diesel mechanic, okay? What's your vision? I don't know, fix trucks. Okay, I get that. Why are you doing what you're doing? Well, I did an apprenticeship. Here I am. I get that, okay? But where do you want to be in 10 years? Well, I want to be restoring cars. Okay, so that's a passion. Yeah, that's a passion. Okay, so what we're doing now is a vehicle for you to get there. So what you need is a plan for 10 years of your business and how you're going to get there, and what drew you and what drives you. So after probably 2 hours of diving and working and getting planning, we found out he hates the way diesel mechanics are portrayed. He hates the fact that they're seen as stupid, whatever, you're a mechanic, you're a grease monkey or whatever. But so there's your why. So in your messaging, talk about that, because you're passionate about changing that perception. So do you see how now your content is now based something on that is more, it's deeper. You're talking, you're then building up your staff to be resilient and to buck that trend. So all of a sudden, all of your messaging has a deeper why. It has a reasoning why you are in business, to educate your staff and build them up, to eventually then get you to a place where you can create a passion, live a life you want to live. So for guys and for tradies, it's about building that out, to giving them that future version of themselves and ways to get there. And the same with a concreter that I do work with. Again, hates the way concreters are perceived. So he's trying to change the industry. So he had a set of core values set up: reach it, teach it. So once you get to a certain stage, each member of his staff teaches the lower ones, so the ones that are learning. And, no bullshit, all the different values that guys would have. And he now is known as the concrete coach, because he's into football and things. He wants to be the guy that teaches the young guys how to be good men and grow into good business people. So see how it's not about what you do, it's higher. It's higher level. It's probably 1 or 2 steps above. I do concrete, I fix driveways, I do truck mechanics, I fix your truck. We had to talk about, during COVID, trucks kept the world going. Now, you know who makes trucks keep going? Diesel mechanics. So getting out of that mindset and getting higher level. And once you get that clarity, your content is done for you, because you know exactly what you're saying, who you're saying it to, and why you're saying it.
I love that. That's almost identical to what I end up doing with my clients for personal branding, because you start with an executive who has got a title and is, is C-suite and is always gone by that title. I'm Megan and this is me, this is my title, and off you go type thing. Whereas when you actually peel back what it is they want to do in 5-10 years time, what that legacy piece is, what do you want people to say about you when you walk out the room type stuff, that's where you get the interesting stuff, because we know what a CFO does, or a CEO or a CMO. Like on paper, yeah, you're all just the same as an accountant, lawyer, etc. But it's the little bits that make you human and the interesting, kind of where you're going, I think is the great stuff. So yeah, I love that, because I think that's what individuals for personal branding, so personal branding, I guess, and then branding and marketing for small businesses is so similar, because you can get really like down to nitty gritty, and you can actually get so relatable because it's real. There's humans behind it. We hear it all the time. People buy from people.
Yeah, and people buy from people they trust.
Yep.
So it's about making sure that you're showing up and trying to get tradies now. The young guys are getting it. The older ones need to start moving, because the work is being taken by the younger ones, because they're showing up. They're showing up on stories. They're showing up in lives. They're showing up.
TikTok.
And, yeah, they're just showing up. There's an electrician, I believe, that's just going off and on TikTok. And the thing is, people now use Instagram as social proof. So if they can go to Instagram, I've told my guys, search hashtag, I do a lot of work with carpenters in Sydney, search hashtag Sydney Carpenter. There you go. There they all are. Look at their work. Look what he looks like. How does he treat his staff? Are his staff, do they all look like they work hard? The job's amazing. Do they leave the work site clean? How are they on site? You can see that now. And if you're someone who's an older tradie that's like, I don't need any of that, I've got referrals. No. The referrals are gone. Word of mouth is gone, and you will find your sales funnel, the top sales, the leads are not there. Word of mouth referrals are getting less and less, and you need consistent leads now to fill those funnels up. And those are coming from social proof, Facebook ads, a lot of building up jobs before and afters. It's just using the tools that are now here that people didn't have 20 years ago, and it's getting all of these tradies on board with that actually does work.
Yeah, and I honestly think that word of mouth is still the strongest marketing, and it's the cheapest marketing you'll ever have, ever. But it happens on a one-to-one basis, and that's not, if you're trying to scale, that's not going to take you where you're maybe planning to go. But not just that, word of mouth works in a different way now, because word of mouth happens instantaneously over social media. It's just not, someone telling you about their son's brother's uncle's company. You're just seeing it online. You're making that connection yourself, and we're all little investigators really now that we've got that at our fingertips, and we know quite quickly who you're associated with, and we can check up on you quite quickly. And I think you're right, we don't trust anything we can't see online. So I work a lot, and you'll do the exact same with your people, that they've got to have some sort of online presence. Like, we don't even go to a restaurant if we can't look at Instagram and decide what we're going to have for brunch. Like,
And I don't stay anywhere unless I can read all of the reviews about what people have thought about it, and even see photos of it. It's just, and I'm just working with a client at the moment who has online business training that he's trying to build, but he himself didn't want to be online because he thought, well, no one wants to see me. And I said, look, if you're trying to sell and be authentic in an online space, you need to show who you are. So it's creating those, we're doing podcasts with him and YouTube channel and creating, more authentic version online, because people will search you. If you're selling anything, people would normally search you. Like, people might look up Nikola Willis to see who is she and what's she about. If I'm selling an online course, why should I listen to her, that type of thing. And that's why I even created Reels this last few weeks, because Reels now is where the organic growth and the algorithm is, and people want to see how you show up in that environment. So, and we've just landed a client through it today, because they said you showed up, and I thought, I want to work with her. So I think if you can realize now, it's not about being silly and I'm too old or whatever. It's about showing up as you and then letting that do the work for you, as as an onset to all of the stuff you already have online, creating that sort of authentic brand on the outside of that. I imagine you do a lot of that too with building brands.
Oh yeah, and never think that nobody wants to watch you or listen to you, because someone definitely does. Some of the most successful accounts I see on TikTok. Now, I'm not a lover of, like, I enjoy consuming on TikTok, but I'm not really that brilliant at making some of them. Maybe not fun enough for that. But saying that, some of the accounts that are really, really popular. One in particular, this old grandpa that just sits there doing shout outs to people, wishing them a happy birthday or saying hello to someone that they've asked them to, and he does some pictures or videos of what he's making for dinner, and it's nothing that Gordon Ramsay would be making. It's pretty basic stuff, but he gets amazing views and engagement is massive. If he was to try and sell something on the back of that, people would buy it.
Yeah, and that's it. And I haven't had as much engagement on my socials as when I've done the last 3 or 4 reels in the last week. So, I mean, it's amazing, because you think, oh, who the heavens is going to want to see me do some sort of reel? But the messaging, if you make it entertaining, you make it authentically you. And the best response I could have got from the first reel I put out, oh my God, that's so you, Nikola.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be a TikToker. I'm trying to be me.
Yeah.
On reels, and to get the response from most of the followers, oh my God, Nikola, that's so funny, that's so you. It's like, well, there you go, that is me. People are picking up on that. So now it's about creating that entertaining content, but creating value, entertaining and educating, and then letting the rest do it for you. And just making sure that you're consistently showing up with value, consistently showing up with social proof, and just being yourself, but being there to serve, as opposed to wanting, here's what I do. It's more like, here's what the problem is, here's a solution to it, and making sure that people realize you're the go-to for that solution.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's a reason why we don't have people knocking on the door and cold calling anymore. It doesn't work. Me marketing is gone. It's all about you marketing and, talking to the person and giving them what they need. I do find reels and TikTok and stuff like that really interesting, because when we think about content pillars, etc., there should be about education, teaching people value, all that kind of stuff. Give everything away for free because they can find it on the internet anyway. But reels is kind of like this interesting space where you don't even need to add any real value. You just have to show up for 15 seconds as you and show a bit of personality, and that kind of seems to attract people in, which is really interesting, because that's, once you've built a really strong personal brand, yes, like, Richard Branson can put anything out and people will just flock to it anyway, but you've got to get to a certain stage, whereas TikTok and reels and those kind of formats are really giving everybody that platform now to just show up as who they are. There's a personality. Here's how hilarious I am, or how dull I am.
Yeah, and who would have thought? I mean, someone was telling me yesterday, there's a TikToker, a lady, I think she's British, and she really just shows up every day and just does her life. And people are mesmerized. And she has sold stuff on the back of it. She does have e-commerce to do. But people are mesmerized by just seeing what she does every day. And the mundane, and my kids consume TikToks like nothing on earth. And the amount of stuff that I see them consuming and looking and showing me, it's just amazing. So I think now Reels obviously is the new thing on the Instagram platform, of course, and there'll be, it was IGTV before that, and it's really about just making sure that you're not trying to be everything to everyone and trying to do everything if you don't feel it is you, concentrating on one platform and one sense, and then knowing you've nailed that, and then making the move instead of trying, because Reels are hard to make the transitions and to make them scroll stopping, as they call it. It's time, and it does take effort, but it pays off. So I'm finding now that the reach and the engagement, it's worth it for me to spend the time to do the reels, which I didn't think it would be. So maybe I'll do less feed posts and put more effort into content reeling, as I would have before put more effort into posts and feed posts. I can see now that they may be consuming more of it on quick 15, 30-second reels, and I can give them the information there. And then there's a caption, they can go back if they need it. That's what I'm finding the way to go forward now is for us. Maybe, 3 times a week. Doesn't have to be overkill, but we need to invest in that now.
Yeah, and I want Instagram to give us a bit better insights into Reels, because
100%.
I can see how many people have watched it, but I'm not really seeing what that's translating into, whereas you can see that with posts and other things. They give you way more information, but it's as if Reels don't really exist in the back end.
No. And as I say, the only way we found out is the client had the discovery call today, said, I saw your Reels, and and came from there. Or you can see that they've gone the reel, but they've seen the reel in your post, because we share it on the profile grid, and you can see now what they've done from there. So yeah, other than directly on the reels, it is, I was going to say it's really hard, but that's with
so many puns.
Excuse the pun, but it's a new world, and one that we've had to discover. So not one I would push people to do unless they were really on top of their messaging and their content, because you want to make sure that even if you are being funny or putting yourself out there, you still have a message. Otherwise, it really is not going to convert. It needs a bit of both.
Yeah, it definitely does. It doesn't surprise me, though, that we are happy to consume that kind of stuff and to consume people's lives, as boring, as mundane as they might be. Look at Big Brother. For years, people have just sat and watched people do nothing but, have their dinner or whatever. Humans just are drawn to other humans and to human behavior. It's so bizarre. But now we've all got the ability to do that. We don't need to get picked to be 10 people to go into a house. We literally can do it every single day ourselves. It's incredible.
It really is. I mean, I was obviously right when Big Brother started. I remember it was just massive, and I would sit there and consume it. And then Big Brother After Dark was where it was super cool, because you got all the stuff you didn't see on the other one. And and now my main thing on Reels is pets. The pet reels just get me every time, with the overlay of whatever, music or whatever it is. I can't get enough of when they do stuff with their pets. So who would have thought that a 47-year-old educated woman would sit there for half an hour scrolling reels to look at dogs, and my kids come past and go, oh, seriously, Mum, are you still scrolling? Because they can hear the music, and they know it from TikTok, which is where the young people are.
It's research, kids, research.
Yeah, and they just said, oh, my God, are you still on Reels? And I'm like, yeah, because supposedly you're not cool if you're on Reels. You have to go on TikTok, because the young people aren't on Reels or Instagram at all anymore. That's the research. So
don't tell me that.
Yeah, no, it is. It's for my age now, supposedly. And if you're under 15 or 16, being on Reels or Instagram is just a no-go. So word to the wise people, if you want to be cool and funky, you need to be on TikTok.
I'm a big LinkedIn fan. I'm really biased, but that's where my ideal client hangs out. 40-year-old male. He's hanging out on LinkedIn, very rarely on Instagram, that's for sure, and certainly not on TikTok. Maybe watching them with his kids, but not really on there.
Because I'm finding a lot of because I obviously work for a lot of tradies, and they're all on Instagram. That was really interesting to me. They're all on Instagram, and they're all, as I said, sharing stories, posting. We do a lot of DMs back and forward, just interacting with their stories and their posts. So it's an interesting thing. I wouldn't have really thought I could find them there. I don't find them on Facebook. They're definitely on Instagram, and not so much Reels yet. I haven't seen that many on Reels, but they're definitely on Instagram stories, and that's great to see, because it really is creating that engaging content that I want them to do, and it allows me to show other tradies what they can do if they're not there, which is awesome for me.
Yeah, brilliant. You touched on another great point a minute ago about your discovery call that you had earlier on today, and how you found out she came from one of your reels. That's just like really basic stuff for anyone who's in marketing. Where did your client come from? How did they hear about you in the first place? Because I have this conversation with one of my clients all the time, and he's inundated, like his business is going boom at the moment, and I'm like, okay, where did they come from? Oh, we're so busy, it doesn't, we don't need more at the moment. I'm like, yeah, but we need to know where they came from, so that when things start drying up, that we know where to go for some more. And it's a conversation. It seems to be the hardest thing for people to actually just say, where did you hear about us?
And it's tracking those. I mean, it's leads. You need to be tracking how many leads, where they came from, storing that information in a customer relationship management software, and making sure you're nurturing them if they don't convert to a sale. It's just 101, but that whole step gets missed. And then I say to people, have you got a database? Let's get your email nurture systems going. And they go, what are you talking about? Well, you've been in business for 10 years. Surely you have a list of maybe the leads that didn't convert. Well, they didn't convert, so I didn't keep them. What?
Yeah.
You didn't what? But they might be ready next year. Why are you not nurturing them? So this is a change of mindset that I try to get my tradies in particular into, but also my service provider clients. Like, leads are leads, and leads are not dead until they're actually dead. Yeah. So people need to remember that a lead needs to be nurtured and warmed up and continue to be warmed up, because most life cycles for people are 18 months. So it's going to take 18 months from the time they see you to the time they normally press buy or sell or comment. They want to stalk you. They want to see what you're about. They want to see you're not full of shit. They want to see that you're one of these people. And it might take 18 months. So don't ignore those people. You know what I mean? Like, come on, like, nurture them, give them a bit of love.
And it's so much cheaper as well to actually try and convert someone who's lukewarm than it is someone who's completely cold and out in the wilderness. So, yeah, no, it's interesting. I do find it interesting how that one question is, I don't like to ask. Just say, where'd you get my number from? Why are we on the phone?
Yeah. And the same thing with reviews, testimonials. People do not ask for them.
Don't want to bother them.
No, but you've got to realize the main reason people are sometimes going to work with you is on your Google reviews or your Facebook reviews, especially your Google reviews these days. I've got most of mine on Facebook. So now I've had to start making sure they go on Google reviews, because that's where people search, you come up, and they go for the reviews. And the first thing they'll do is look at your Google reviews. So, and it will help you rank higher. So definitely get some sort of template that you can automatically send out, or call them or email, and just, you do feel a bit stalkerish after the second time when you ask for it and they still don't do it. So, I don't know whatever your level is, but yeah, that you at least ask twice. Feel like you've tried, because, I don't know how many times you really want to ask them, but at least twice, I say.
Yeah, I reckon third time lucky sometimes, Nicola, this has been fantastic. Some really great tips in amongst our general chit chat, because you and I do like to chat. Where can everyone find you, and what's next? Tell us what's next.
Okay, next for NW Marketing, we have a coaching arm, which is Magnify Your Marketing. And that's where I'm finding I'm getting the most impact. I'm able to work one-on-one with small businesses in building up their 90-day marketing plans, allowing them to see clarity, direction, and working with them one-on-one. So we're launching, we have our brain dump sessions, which are 2-hour sessions. So they're available online at nw-marketing.com.au. And then the exciting thing is the launch of the 3-week mini online course. So that launches in June. So if they look at on the website, there's a wait list for that to get more info. We're excited because it means we can bring that information to more people and allow them to instead of just having to work with me one-on-one, they can do the work themselves and have access to that coaching if they need it. So I'm excited. It just means that we can get out to as many people as we can, and we're currently putting that together. So mid-June launch. So yeah, so website has all the details for us, and NW_marketing for Instagram.
Fantastic. I love that. If you are listening and you are a small business owner, or you're just about to get started, you might not have the budget to actually have in-house marketing staff. But honestly, if you don't have someone in your team that is helping you with your marketing, even if it's just a strategy and you want to implement it yourself, you need that, because if not, you've got this amazing business, but no one knows about it. So yeah, reach out to Nicola if you are a small business and you are looking to make a bit of a dent in your industry.
Yeah, perfect. And as I said, we also do Done For You Digital, which allows people to reduce the overwhelm. And if you want help with the clarity, that's where the Magnify Your Marketing comes in. So both realms just allow small businesses to not have and be in their brains as much, just allow them to reduce the overwhelm and increase their clarity in their marketing. It just makes such a difference.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Nicola, and I will put all of your links into the show notes so that people can get in touch with you. But thanks again, and everyone go and check out Nicola. Give her a follow on Instagram. Check out her new reels.
Absolutely. They're amazing.